Welcome to the Coach V Show, your show for personal and professional development with expert insights and interviews to help you, me, and we work to be our best and live our best life. I am so excited today here on Island City where the beach meets the streets on the Coach V Show, where iron sharpens iron, together we rise. We have one of my favorite Tongans on the planet, not just because of the value it is that he brings, not just because he has an amazing story, not just because he's successful and he brings major significance to the community in which he lives, as well as the communities in which he travels to and promotes and teaches the Polynesian spirit, but because of the fact of all that he has overcome. Today on the Coach V Show, we are featuring Siaosi Veimau, known as Sia down in the San Diego region of the 619, born in Tonga in 1971, moved to the U.S. and the Bay Area in 1981. 12 years he served as, before there was Magnum PI, there was Siaosi PI, right? And he served as a private investigator for 12 years. He has been an expert in the fitness industry for 16 years and the owner and operator of the world-renowned Rawmana Fitness in San Diego, California. He and his wife, and he is the director of the Polynesian dance company called Kaleo or Lani. He is a double lung transplant survivor, and this story is going to rock your world. And he is currently finishing his first book, Lost and Found. You are the endless mountain that you must climb. He is married to his beautiful wife, Ida, of 28 years. They met when she was 13, dated when she was 17, and at the year 23, they both were married. He has 3 children, Malia, Victoria, Loiola. His middle child and son is Lolenisi, and his youngest is Paea, Kivaha. This coming up here shortly, Siaosi will be launching his personal development course called La Taki, which is an old program in Tonga that brings youth together and teaches the Tongan values and traditions. Siaosi is passionate about transforming people's lives and having them to be free from how they wound up being. Coach V family and the Island City family, welcome to the Coach V Show. Your boy, Mr. Rawmana himself, Siaosi Veimau, on the show.
Choo! How you doing, Coach?
Mr. Rawmana,
it's a pleasure to be here. I mean, an honor. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, please. The honor is mine. You are absolutely a living legend. Siaosi, let's not hold the suspense. Tell the audience, what is your genesis point and what is your story, Siaosi?
Where did we start and where did we end, right?
Right.
You know, let's, I'm just going to go back. Like you said earlier, born in Tonga, I was flown here. My father brought us here at the age of 11. I met my wife early on in life. I married her when I was 23. Moved here to San Diego as a PI, and my PI work brought me here to San Diego. And that was just a crazy time within itself. I realized in that time when I was being a PI that I missed my children. And so I decided I was no longer going to do that. My wife and I sat down and created other avenues that we can, like having the group and then jumping onto the fitness world so that way I can be home with my kids and that they can all come and go when they please. I got tired and sick and tired of working for somebody else, building somebody else's paradise and having them go on vacation while I'm there working for them. And that's when I decided that I was going to go ahead and do my own work. And here we are.
Here we are, and the legend is born. And now you're going into year, what is this, year 17?
Going on year 17.
Going on year 17, and you are a staple in the San Diego region and Mexico. But how did that all start? Talk to us about some life lessons and what it is that was your upbringing in Tonga prior to coming here. What was that like? Where did you go to school? Where did you live in Tonga? And what really prompted you and the family to move out this way?
Yeah, it's crazy. At that time, my father, we lived in La Paja. And my auntie at that time was traveling, and she was a nun at that time, and she fell in love here in California. She then decided that she was going back home and bring her brothers and her sisters here to the United States. And so my father was here for a couple of years. I think it was maybe a year and a half to 2 years, as he did all the paperwork and went to work in building the finance and making sure that all of the documents was put together. And then a year and a half later, came back to Tonga and got the first 5, and then came back for the second 5. And it's crazy. Being here at the age of 11, what I might take away from here, that we came from nothing, had absolutely nothing. And so every step on, I used to go to the airport and collect quarters for putting back returning the carts. And that's how I fed my nephews and my niece. Dad was way too busy working 3 jobs. My niece and my nephew's father was way too busy at the military. So that whole part of, we came from nothing, a quarter became everything. And a quarter stacked on top of a quarter, it became everything. It taught me myself that I was it. There was nobody else coming. And then I had to step up to the plate and feed these 2 kids. Right?
Right.
And it's just when we come from nothing, everything that we add on, it's everything. So it's not like we grew up with everything. We had started with absolutely nothing, and everything from there on, it just became fruit, the label of fruit, right? The fruit itself. It was beautiful. In other words, we didn't struggle.
Right.
When I say that we didn't struggle, we had no idea we were poor. I'm going to tell you a little story about that, Coach. I think I was in 7th grade, and my friend Matt Nakasone, he had just moved here from Japan. And it was a week before Thanksgiving, and I invited him over to the house, and I said, and in the back we had this box, and I invited him, and I said, you can come and stay at my house. And he came, and I said to him, I can't wait to tell you and show you about my favorite breakfast that my grandmother makes. And he was like, what is it? What is it? So the first morning he wakes up, and my grandma makes this beautiful rice with some butter, with some milk, and he's making this, and she's making this, and I introduced it to my friend, and he goes, oh, it's just rice. I'm like, but it's the best. And so lunch comes around, and it's the same thing. I'm like, I can't wait until I show you what my grandma makes for lunch. And it was dinner time, and it was the same thing. And so he looks at me, and he's like, is that all that you guys eat is rice? So with a fast forward, it was the next week, and it was Thanksgiving Day. And I was at his house, and there we are, we're playing outside, and the mom calls us inside. And she says, well, come on in, let's have dinner. And I walked in, and this round table, the abundance of food, like it could have fed like a family of 25. And I stood there, and I was stunned. I was stunned at the amount of food that was present. And I just cried. And like, Mom was like, why are you crying? I said, like, I can't eat this food. Like, my family's at home, they're starving.
Right.
And it was that moment that I realized how poor we were. And what she said was, she said, don't worry about it. This is just for us to eat right now. We'll pack everything and we'll take it back to your family. And that was the moment, like I said, the moment that I realized that we were poor. Right. But I had no idea we were poor. We're giving the abundance of love, the abundance of things to do, sitting around having conversation was beautiful. And just didn't know that we were poor.
Right. So now you had something to compare abundance versus lack, right? Like
100%.
you just didn't realize it. And then some from that experience, what came next? So you're trying to take back carts for quarters, trying to feed your niece and nephews. I mean, there's 10 of you. Yes, Siaosi? 10 brothers and sisters?
What there's actually 11.
11 brothers and sisters. So your dad is trying to bring 5 over to California, then go back and get the rest, right? I mean, that is a lot of people, a lot of family. What is the life lesson that you learned from that? That your aunt was a nun, figured out that California would be a better opportunity. You start to figure out what abundance is by going to this home for Thanksgiving, and then seeing your dad and your family and you starting to have really just the work ethic to figure things out on your own. What's the life lesson there for you to share with all of us?
Yeah, never take anything for granted. Gratitude was humongous in my life. And every time that I was down, what I would give gratitude is my father had gave away his life so that I would have a second chance in life. That my father gave up his life to come to America and work his rear end off so that I can have a second chance in life.
Wow.
And that I would never take one day for granted.
And so you guys all did that. How are the rest of the brothers and sisters doing from that sacrifice? It's so funny, especially in the Tongan relationships, right? Is that we can all come from the same family, but we are distinctly different, right? All of the siblings are different. How is that family dynamic? I mean, most Americans, they can imagine maybe 6 or 7 siblings, right?
Yeah.
Well, most families now have 3 to 4, maybe 5. But I mean, we come from huge families. What was the life lesson from that dynamic, and how are the siblings doing from your father's sacrifice?
I think you're absolutely right. You can come from the same family, having taught the same value, and yet walk away to life or walk into life completely different. And this is the part where I'm talking about that majority of my family members has been okay with their identity in life, the way that they wound up being. They're okay with that, and there's nothing absolutely wrong with that.
Right.
I just have it that I'm not constrained, I'm not stopped by having my identity, the person that I wound up being, that I could be different. I don't have to be the person that I wound up being, that I could become a different person, yet the same.
Yeah. And have you always been like that? I mean, you are the only Tongan private investigator I've ever met in my life, right? I think you and Okalani Taufahema might be the only ones that own gyms. Now, there are more people in the fitness industry and might own gyms, but I just have never met them personally, right? So you're definitely in an industry that not a lot of Tongans are in. Did you always have that mindset? And was your father the main source of being so audacious? Talk about that, Siaosi.
Yeah, my father was my hero. My father passed away he was 48 when he passed away.
Wow, so young.
And
condolences, yeah.
At that time I was like 18, 19. And I never, let's go back in that part. I remember distinctly the smell. My father had 3 jobs, and he would come home on a Sunday morning and would sit down on a couch, and he would say, "Can take off my boots." And I can remember, like, right now, as I'm pulling off his boots, I can smell the scent of like there's 5 rats that has just died in his shoes.
Right, right.
At that time, I was like, oh my God, like what the hell have you done?
Right.
Is that I'm peeling off the socks, and it's just moist, and the socks is stuck to his skin as I'm taking it off, right? And there is just more smell, more odors of hard work. At that point in my life, I just had it that my father had some stinky ass feet. As then I'm grown, as I'm growing older, what I realized is that was hard work. A man that would wake up in the morning, leave, and wouldn't come back. He wouldn't come back until it was time for him to come back to take another shower, just to head back.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he was my hero, because he wasn't about his feelings. He was about a doer. That man stayed in the world performance. He didn't let his feelings get in the way. He didn't let his thoughts get in the way. What he knew was, I gotta make this amount of money to make sure that my kids and his wife and his whole house is complete and that we're fed. That's that man. And on July 1991, I got to hold his hand. And he was dying, saying thank you and acknowledging for the person that he has become for me, giving me that second chance in life. It was that moment that I would never, ever take life for granted.
Right. So 18 years old, Toko. Man, what and how did that and share with the audience how you were able to overcome your grief. I mean, losing your hero. And obviously a lot of people put 2 and 2 together later in life, right? About really the gratitude that you have for your father. Man, that whatever feet stink that was, that's how hard work smells like, right?
Yep.
So talk about that. Talk about how you overcame your grief and then had the courage to move on from the passing of such a integral person and your hero in your life.
Let me tell you, it was the hardest part of life for me. So from the age of 18, 19, I didn't know what grief was. I had no idea what that was. I had no idea what being vulnerable is. Like, I didn't know what, if I would share what I was going through in my life, that would give me some kind of freedom. I didn't take that on until I was 40. Like, who sits there and have a conversation about what you're going through?
Right.
Share with people, like, what are your griefs? Nobody does that. I was never taught that. My father left me with what my father left me with, which is hard work and living the world performance. That's what he left me with. He didn't teach me. He has
the audience. Siaosi, say that again for the audience. Hard work and what else? What else did you say?
The world of performance.
The world of performance. Amen.
Yeah. That's what he left me with. He didn't have time to sit down and tell me how to give up grief, how to work through grief.
Yeah.
I had to discover it all on my own. And it was in my early 40s that I discovered that I was so numbed. Every single person in my life that has passed away, like my brothers, my sisters, my cousins, my mom, I've never sat down and just cried my heart out. Because I didn't know how to deal with it. At one point I blamed God for taking away my hero and taking away every single person. So I spent the rest of my life from 18, 19 until I was 40, just hating God. Why would you take away the people that I love? I stopped going to church, stopped taking my family to church. When people talk about Jesus Christ, I walked away from the conversation. Was unwilling to have that kind of conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And I was stuck in that way of being because I didn't know any better. When I discovered that I could be vulnerable, and vulnerability meant that there's nothing absolutely wrong with having some kind of emotion, feeling towards something like that. It was only then that I can stop having tears and cries with my son, my daughter, because I'm so programmed. The way that I wound up being, I was programmed that crying, it's not a thing to do.
Mm.
Crying, it's not a thing to do. Right? And if you did cry, you're considered weak.
Mm.
And I couldn't have a relationship with my son, with my daughter, because I had it crying. I would show my weakness.
Mm.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I have it is beautiful that I'm just getting to a place in my life that I'm comfortable in my own skin.
Mm.
If I need to cry, that I can. If I need to say something, that I can. I don't have to hold back the things that my thoughts that's in here. I can just say and be open. And that's just something that we Tongans aren't with. Really speaking, being vulnerable with who we are and what's truly going on. And we're just stuck in that world.
That's what really I marveled with at first meeting you. You used two words and you said it again: vulnerability and present. I'm present, right? And I find that in my coaching career, coaching Fortune 1,500, 100 companies, coaching high-level people like yourself, we've gone through our coaching sessions, is that to be present and vulnerable, you had to have gone through some shit, right? You had to have been, you got to be in your 40s. I mean, because in your 20s and your 30s, you are caught up. Like you said, it's a think, feel, do world, right? That's a framework in both the behavioral sciences, the psychological approach, and then it's also a marketing approach, and advertising is this think, feel, do, right? Having the success mindset, this positive mindset, championship mindset, having this emotional intelligence, right? Because of your feelings, and then also be able to have a behavior in spite of what you think and feel, that you still are about that action and that performance, about your goals and the achievement that you want. But you were the first one that I've been around, and I'm around some high level folks, but you always use those two words. And so how did the struggle, how did loss and grief connect you to being more vulnerable and being what you say all the time is, V, I got to be more present. I got to be here, which I always talk about, like, be here now.
Yeah.
Be where you are right now. Siaosi, help the audience gain that level of awareness, not having to go through grief or losing or embarrassing yourself before now being vulnerable, allowing yourself to be even vulnerable, to lose or fail in your first business, to be more present, right? Help them understand how to subscribe to that now versus going through the negative shit we've been through, and then now going, you know what? I need to be more vulnerable with my family, need to be more present. Come on, Siaosi, right?
100%, Coach. It's, first of all, the way that our brain works is just the way that our brain works. We've been taught certain things in our life. So in other words, what you know is what you know. And all you know is somebody has taught you. Like your mom has taught you something, your father has taught you something. And all your experiences of your life gives you exactly what you know. And so the way that you listen is not in the present moment, because you're listening from an aspect or a filter of your past. right? And it's hard to be present because we cannot undo what we've done in the past. Because to cause yourself to be present you have to constantly generate and give up what you've learned to be present in the conversation. And that takes some work.
Yeah, biases, right?
Filters from the past.
You got to let go of the biases. You got to let go of your prejudices, right? Because that all comes, what you're talking about is people behave not according to really what they want to do, but according to the modeling and the example that they have been programmed to see from the past. 100%. Carry on, please, yeah. Chelsea, carry on.
So to generate that kind of present, you would have to condition. So we've just been conditioned to have to see and think a certain way. You have to recondition. In other words, you have to practicing. You have to stop practice when you're having a conversation with somebody that this internal dialogue that's happening out here is not who you are. So as you're having a conversation, there's already always conditioning of listening out here. And it's turning that little thing off so that you can be present. So you can actually hear what's being said, not through your filters of yesterday. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And it takes some practice. And it takes giving up what you think you already know and what you already know, so you can be fully here in the moment of conversation.
Yes, sir. That is so huge. In that be present, how much have you recognized that people also need to focus and be less distracted?
You know, when you say that, Coach, I go back, I ask a lot of people, what is a peace of mind for you? Right? Majority of people say peace of mind is being happy, whatever that is. It's like having enough finance to take care of my world. Like having a boat gives you a peace of mind. Having some physical thing gives you a peace of mind. Here's what a peace of mind is to me. Is when you can lie down and you can go to sleep without having all the chatters in your head. Keep you awake. Right? So my father once told me, he said, if you can go to sleep at night knowing that you didn't cheat, steal from somebody, well done, my son. Well done, my son.
No doubt.
You can go to sleep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Keep going, Siaosi, please.
No, it's that when you hear that voice, sometimes those voices are a reminder, right? Well done, my son. You can go to sleep at this moment. Sleep because you haven't cheated and stolen from somebody. That's a peace of mind.
That's right.
It's not about how much you have in your pocket. Yeah.
I mean, that is one of the most negative symptomatic health aspects of today's United States social scene, professional scene, is really the inability to go to sleep because you cannot let go of those negatives, right, that you're thinking of, and then the haters. But what about this though, and help all of us, Siaosi? What about not being able to sleep because of your own self-sabotage and your own created, right, negative thinking, right? How hard is that? That's hard, isn't it?
It's, well, like you and I have done the work. And this goes back to you yourself have to go to work on yourself and discover for yourself what's there for you. When you can understand that your mind works the way that your mind is, that your mind is never focused on being present, it's always focused on something you've done in the past or something you're going to do in the future.
Right.
Give an example. You can drive from Northern California to Southern California. 8 hours comes by, and how did I get there? Because you're not present to what's in front of you, not what's beside you. You're always thinking about something in the past, something in the future.
That's right.
right? So you really don't have a future in that sense.
Right.
Did you guys hear that?
Say that again, Siaosi, and explain it.
You don't have a future. If what you learn in life is everything from the past, if everything you have learned is all from the past, all your experiences here in the past, and all you know is from the past, where's your future at?
That's right.
You have none. You have no future. Especially, it's kind of crazy. Your past is actually in front of you. All your past experiences in front of you to make sure that you'll never be hurt ever again. Not feel any kind of pain, any kind of physical or mental, everything's in front of you. And so you have no future. Right? And the whole concept in this self-development is to take your past that's leading your future and put them behind you. And what if you can put your past behind you where they belong? What can we do now? You can start with anything you want. You have a clean canvas. And that's why I say, I want to free people from their already ways of being and the way they wound up being.
That's right.
Because if we can put their past and make sure it's right back there where it belongs, you can now create something new for yourself.
That's right. No, I love that. And one of the things in terms of creating this mindset, this success positive mindset, championship mindset, is that I often remind my clients, which took me a long time to get to, right? It's like when you're always judging on your performance to now dictate and or define your value. So one, I think every person should feel that you are valuable, you are important, and that if you're not good with yourself, it's going to be very hard to move forward, right? Siaosi, if you don't accept yourself and try to raise your level and try to level up every single day, there's already going to be problematic issues. But one thing I pose for my clients all the time is, well, stop thinking that I need this to be that. Like if I get this account, if I get, right? So I'm up on a couple of things coming up with NASA out of Alabama. They got 10 different areas that I'm going to be coaching in the United States. And it'd be easy for me to go, man, if I get this, then I'll be this. Versus this success and positive mindset is whether I get this or not, I'm still going to do what I do and it's still going to be great, right? Instead of always putting that future success as what's going to bridge you to everything else. Yes, it's performance and profitability and execution. All that matters, yeah. The point is the windows of opportunity go round and round, and it comes less around when you self-doubt yourself. It comes around less, the windows of opportunity. Should you just put everything into one basket? Like, I need this to be successful. No, you are successful. You're alive. You got breath. You're healthy. And whether you get this account or not, you're going to be fine. And something else will come along. Come on, Siaosi. How much do we put too much into either a future that has not happened, or we put too much fear into something that's not even as bad? And then when you get there and you succeed, you're like, man, it's not even as bad as I thought it was going to be. Right, Siaosi?
100%, Coach. I mean, I can only add a little bit to what you're already saying. You know, majority of those of us that live in the world of performance, it doesn't care. World of performance, it doesn't care about the way you feel. Majority of people, I have it that majority of people are in their thoughts and in their own judgment of who they are.
Right.
And that's where people are stopped. They're stopped because they have it that if somebody's judging who they are, somebody's not judging who you are. You're sitting there judging yourself for what you have not yet done or for what you lack. Right? The words that come out of your mouth about somebody else and what's going on that side, it's a reflection on self.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you do the work, you truly realize that you are the creator of your being.
That's right.
The words that come out of your mouth becomes alive You are alive because you say so, and you are dead because you also say so.
Right, right.
Right? You're alive because you say so in your communication, and you're also dead on the spot because you also say so.
Right. Yeah. And anything there's no action, a thought without action or a feeling without action, right? And you've heard me say it before, love and success are nouns that work better as verbs, because without action, love and success are just words.
Yep.
Anything else that you would add to that, and then we'll move on?
Yeah, in simple terms, thoughts are like farts. They come and go. And if you have your farts, and if you think about your fart and sitting here smelling your fart, you are lost in the fart. You're lost in your thought. If you put something in front of you and go to work on that, the thoughts are going to steal your thunder.
Yeah.
It's put that, whatever it is that's in front of you, and put that goal up here, and put the small task that you need to do to make sure that you reach that goal. But I promise you, if you pay no attention to your thoughts and your feelings, you'll get to where you get to. As soon as you allow your thoughts to steal your thunder, and then you're now distracted here, that goal right in front of you is now stopped, comes to a complete stop, right?
Yeah.
It's focusing on the things that matter, that matters, not focusing on the thought that steals everything away. The distraction to make sure that we're busy enough that this stays still.
Absolutely. Yep. And then Rawmana Fitness, I've been there, quite an operation. I mean, you have just amazing, gorgeous people walking around. Like you have models, you have like people that are actors and actresses, and you have people from either the performance industry or high level business folks. Quite an operation. How does someone, and then after that, you're so tight with the owner of the property, you actually run your business just not from the physical framework of your existing building,
yeah,
but you use the driveway, the back lot, you got tires back there, you got, I mean, how did that all manifest? Talk to us about Rawmana and your business.
And this goes back to that, what I said earlier, that you come alive, we come to life, we come alive when you say so. And so I've created conversation with people that would allow me to have a conversation with the owner. Right? It is as simple as I get to ask what I want. And when they hear what it is that I'm asking for, it becomes alive for them, because I'm creating not a space for me, but I'm creating a space for people in general, that people that are free. In other words, I enrolled the owners in what I'm capable of doing and how I can bring people together and how we can help this world, starting from who we are. And he's the source. That he's the source of this space. He's the space to allow us to do what we need to do to bring people together. And he's got a taste of what it is to have different people walk into the space, that they can be free, be self-expressed, and they can be in the world of no judgment.
Right. And you put them through some physical, demanding, out of your comfort zone, physical activity to now manifest a mental and a spiritual transformation that now becomes very evident in how they look and transform physically. Talk about the Rawmana approach to that, Siaosi.
Wow, it's before I start, let me read you something that we wrote. This is who we are in Rawmana. Rawmana is a culture of rebuilding your mind, body, and it's the gateway to extract the unrefined power within and unleash your true self. And who we are for our families. Rawmana is a home away from home, a creating, nurturing family where there is an experience of a safe space, a freedom to be fully self-expressed without judgment. Who we are for our community. We are an all-inclusive community that brings the human spirit and the sharing of cultures with the experience of being present and alive.
Okay, as as Siaosi reads that mission, know this. Here's the disclaimer for the Coach V Show. If you go there and try to box Siaosi, I am judging you because I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to get your ass knocked out. Because this skinny ass tongue, I talk, coach, and teach and train all over the country. And in front of thousands of people, I always get the greatest laugh. It's like, look at me. I'm Polynesian, right? I'm the skinniest Polynesian you ever seen. And then I met Siaosi. But do not underestimate this guy's hands, because this dude will knock you out. And even though it's a free space that is non-judgmental, we will all be laughing at your ass. Hey, hashtag real talk, right, Siaosi? Can we tell him that doesn't mean you're not going to get your ass beat? That doesn't mean that you're not going to push until you throw up every part of your inside, including your stomach, right, Siaosi? Real talk, 100%. Right? Coach, so yes, it's non-judgmental. Yes, it's out of your comfort zone. But in that, man, people are laughing, engaging. Like, it's a very true and unique dynamic environment. Carry on, Siaosi.
100%. Coach.
And I'm saying this, don't freaking shadow fight with Siaosi. My ass won't do it. I got some hands, all right? But I'm not messing around with 50-something-year-old Siaosi. I'm not going to do it, Siaosi. What's your thoughts, Siaosi? What else?
Coach, it just takes me back, when I was growing up, my brother beat us up. He was a drill sergeant. He was a drill sergeant. And we're up at 5 o'clock in the morning doing the things that you want us to do. And boxing became a way of life. Him slapping around.
Yeah,
was just a way of life. There was no other, you had to protect yourself and fight back, or you're just going to get your rear end beat. And we're talking about, fist. It wasn't until I grew up and I had a little bit of money that I bought gloves. Other than that, he was just beating us up with his fist.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful. I'm grateful because I was able to defend myself.
That's right. You have a level of awareness really in a lot of things, but in boxing, man, I mean, you'll counter with what should be hitting you. You'll move just slightly and just counter. And I'm just like, man, this guy's stupid. Don't put gloves on with Siaosi.
It's all a show. It's all a show, Coach. It's just a show.
Yeah, it's all a show with performance. And when that freaking right hand hits your chin, you're going to be wobbly.
It's a family punch. It's a family punch.
That's right. And so, Siaosi, carry on with that conversation. I just had to be real because people were like, oh, my gosh, we're going to hold hands and sing Kumbaya.
Not at all.
The mission statement sounds like that, but this shit is some demanding stuff. Come on, Siaosi.
So for me, Coach, it's I literally have to break some people down. And that's what I'm trying. I have to break them down before I can build them up. Majority of people walking the gym is if this is going to be a lot of fun. And it's going to be fun. But in order for you to have a transformation, a mental transformation, even a physical transformation, you're going to have to be vulnerable in your being here with me. Because it doesn't work for me that you walk around being tough. Because anybody can be tough. I'm not looking for the tough person. I'm looking for a person that wants to reveal him or herself and reveal who they are and discover the new person that they can become. It's not until I can break them down and have them cry, because when they're crying, the truth comes out. When they have hit the bottom's rock is when the truth comes out of their mouth. Because I have it in my gym that people come to my gym not to have a physical transformation, but to have a breakthrough in life. And you can't have a breakthrough in life if you haven't been broken down. Right?
That's right.
So I push you hard enough that you start crying and you start cussing at me because of this and this and this. It's only then that the journey begins, because you're now starting to be vulnerable. You're starting to see yourself and you start putting away that fake BS that most people do. You're like, I'm tough, I'm tough, I'm tough.
Yeah, I believe it. And I've seen it and I watch it every single day. It's one of the first things that I watch. It's like, damn, like even this morning. So this morning I got up a little bit late and it was going to be easy for me because I have clients all day, right? To just go, you know what, I'm not going to work out today because I'm not going to go play what I love. I love to do cardio playing basketball, right? I turned on one of your videos. I'm like, okay, I better go get my run in right now before I take Junior to school, because it really does force you to level up, right? And leveling up is not freaking comfortable. Becoming better, you know, as a concept, you can rap that shit all day, but it takes action and performance. It takes mental toughness. It takes an emotional intelligence that, in spite of the fact that you don't feel like doing that shit, we made this goal to achieve it. So I'm your coach and you're going to do it. And then I see people crying like, Sia, I can't do it no more. Okay, good. Are you done? Keep going. Come on, Sia. Overcoming the shit that you can't overcome or you think you can't overcome. It creates an amazing whatever you want in your life. Talk about that, Siaosi.
Yeah, Coach. I become people's ears. And I become the rock for them. I am the rock for who they are. When they walk in, they expect me to act and be a certain way.
Right.
And so when they're in their emotion, when they're being emotional, when they're in their thoughts about, I can't do this, I can't that, all I have to do is like, let them know, I hear you. Continue your task.
But I hear you, but keep going.
I just get to acknowledge what they're going through. Because that's all it is. People just need to be acknowledged and validated for what they're going through in life. Does that make sense?
No, absolutely.
Most people in life never get to be heard. This is one place where you get to come and you can tell me how you feel and cuss me out and I go, I got your back.
Right? Like people there, they know they'll be seen. Does that make sense, 100%. Right? They know they'll be heard.
They'll be heard.
Right? They know that they're valued, that what they say is valid. It's important, that they matter. But it doesn't mean you still ain't got to put in the work.
No. So this place, you know, other than being the space for people to be free and be self-expressed, this place is truly, it's all about results. It's driven on results.
That's right.
I don't have results.
I mean, they don't pay you the kind of money they pay you, Sia. No. Right?
No, not at all.
And go through all that and not change at all.
Right.
Right?
It's all about being in the world performance. But before we get there, the smaller chip that we have to chip it down and build it up. I have it as it's just a beautiful way of being for me. It works for me and it works for those that come here.
Absolutely. 100%. So Sia, I've heard you tell the story. In 3 minutes, can you give us the Sports Center highlight? I mean, you go in and they tell you you're going to need a double lung transplant. You look like you got down to being skinnier than when you were a teenager or kid, right? And you passed out and went to the hospital, and then they notified you that your lungs are coming. Can you tell the story that I kind of tried to summarize? It's such a remarkable story of perseverance, of faith, right? You talk about, you know, you created this communication in this space to talk with the owner of your property about this. And I do believe that if you seek, you will find. You know, 100%. If you ask, it will be given unto you. Talk about that and your double lung transplant in 3 minutes or so, Siaosi, because of our time.
That's my God. Here's the crazy part. I didn't think that I was going to make it. Like I think I was down to 50% capacity in my lungs, and I was here at the gym still training a few Samoan boys. The Maunga family, and they were still in college playing football. And at that moment when my tank ran out, I had it that was it for me. That was it.
You thought you were going to die right there. You were at the gym training. Yeah.
Right. I'm training somebody and I ran out of oxygen. I had my brother Nisi run up to the top and get me another. But I just had it that I couldn't, my body could no longer sustain itself. And then at the same time, I had 2 more weeks left. I had 2 more weeks left before the doctor gave me 6 months, and that was the end of my 6 months.
Right.
Yeah. And I only had a few weeks left of living with this lung. And when I got up to the top, is when I got the call to come in.
Wow.
And, you know, going under the knife, saying goodbye to those that were there, I had it that I had to be the most happiest man there is, because I had no idea what was going to happen, what I was going to make it in and make it out of it. I had no idea, but I did want to live in an idea that I was good where I was at. And, you know, coming out, but the coming out part was the most spectacular part, trying to breathe on my own, trying to walk on my own. I was down to 114 pounds, skin and bones. And just, this is going to be a whole different conversation, Coach. There's just no way we can just, you know, but yeah, but it was beautiful. I had all the people that I ever wanted around me. You know, Ida was around me, my kids were around me, they're supporting me. And on my second week when I got home is when I realized that I went to the beach and I realized that I'd been stuck in my room for 2 weeks. And it was that time, it was that moment where I told myself it's time to heal. And it was when I had to accept who I am and where I was at in life, that I was merely going to make it. Once I accept me for who I am and where I'm at, I can then start to build. And then I rebuilt from there on. I did ran 26 miles. We created our own little Rawmana-thon where we did, you know, 26 miles. And it's just, it's all about it, Dan. It's all about having people around you that love you. And it's the community that we are, my wife and I created, that was there. And all of those people that were there they're the one that mattered in my life, because they showed up when I needed them the most.
Wow. What are the odds of your body accepting the new lungs? What were the odds?
Yeah, let me just say this. You know, what they said was, I don't know if it's going to accept it or not.
Right.
But you know, and the crazy part is like, majority of people go in for single lung. I went in for two. Yeah, and but they said I had 20% probability that I'm going to make it. 20%. Wow. That's not much. The doctor told me that I couldn't be outdoors, I couldn't be around people. And the crazy part about that is I had it that if you're going to tell me to stay indoors and lock myself indoors, I might as well die.
Oh.
And I didn't want to live life that way. And I was going to take my chances coming back and being with people. Even through COVID, I was around people. I'm a people person. If I'm not around people, I die away slowly in my mind. Like being able to have a conversation with people, having the physical touch, right? Just being around human beings is what keeps me alive, right? You know, and what's another way of living life if your life has just been taken away and you'll get a second chance?
Yeah,
what are you going to do with that? You're going to lie around in bed?
Yeah. So we're going to skip the hot seat because this story is so good, but we do need to get to, in a minute or so, what is Mr. Rawmana, Siaosi Veimau's message to the world? What's your message to the world, sir?
Yeah, take a look around yourself, around your community, around your family, around the world. Does the world work for you? Does it work for the next generation? I want to build a world that works for me at this moment, for my family, for my community, that when I die, there is a sense of peace in the world. That's who I am. I'm committed that when I'm gone, whether I'm here or not, when I'm gone, that there's a sense of peace, who we are as human beings, and that we can transform our way of being and be different. And I'm just looking forward to having more conversation about what that looks like in the future.
I love that. How can people find you? You're writing your new book, about to finish that. When are you going to finish the book? Can we finish the book so Coach B can buy the first copy? When are you finishing the book? What about this personal development? How can people find you?
All right.
On Instagram, email you. How can people connect and subscribe to your program?
Yes. So you guys can reach me on IG, on Instagram as Rawmana Fit or Siaosi Veimau. You can also email me at sia@rawmanafitness.com. Or you can call me at 858-688-4399. 858-688-4399. And talking about the Lataki leadership program that I'm starting at the end of this month. Yeah, if you're interested, go ahead and give me a call, text me, get a hold of me, IG.
I like that. And what about your shout outs? What are your shout outs? Who do you want to shout out, Siaosi?
Yeah. First of all, Coach, you and I has been talking for some time. My shout outs for you. I've watched you in the last several years, and you have been that inspiration. We've had a coaching call, and it was spectacular. The stuff that you had taught me, I put to work, right? And my shout out would be for you and for people that are looking to get beyond what they're already at. Like, reach out to Coach. Don't be afraid to say that I need a little help, right? Don't be afraid. Reach out to him and make sure that he's a part of your life. And once again, you talk a lot about iron sharpening irons. I didn't get where I'm at because I did it on my own. I started by reaching out to Coach. I've been following him, listening to what he's been doing, and having coaching conversation with him, and enhancing my life. Now I'm taking on my own. So reach out to Coach. That's my shout out. I also want to give a shout out. Let me give a shout out to my son and my daughter Malia, Loiola, Victoria. I love you. To my son, Loli, my God, I watched him fall in love over this weekend. It's just so beautiful to be alive and present to my son falling in love with a girl. And it's just amazing. To my son, Maki, Paea Kivaha, I miss him so much. I get to see him every other day, and I miss him, and I love him. To my partner in crime, Ida, life. The life that we are creating at this moment for us to be where we're at in life has been beautiful. We've gone through a lot of stuff in the last 20 years, and I have what we're creating newly for this period of time in our life is beautiful. So it's thank you for listening for something new, and thank you for creating something newly for both of us, that life works. Life works for the both of us, that you're happy, that I'm happy, that our kids are happy, and those around us are happy because they see that we are happy in where we are in our life.
Thank you so much, Sia. Sia, one more time, how can people get a hold of you? Can you give your handles one more time and your email address?
Yep. You can reach me at Instagram, Rawmana Fit, or Siaosi Veimau. Or you can reach me on email, Sia, S-I-A, @rawmanafitness.com. Or you can just call me, 858-688-4399. Text me first so I know who you are. Text me first.
Yeah,
all right, that's it, Coach.
Man, thank you so much, Siaosi, for taking the time to come out. You are such an inspiration. Sia and I have talked, and we have done coaching sessions. He has since really graduated from our sessions and is doing a good job. And what we're both saying is you can reach out to us if you want to, and we would love an opportunity to serve you and your success and really help you achieve your success more effectively and efficiently, but translate that success into joy, peace, happiness, fulfillment, love, and family time. But do this, please get help and level up and find your mentor, your coach somewhere. It could be a pastor, it could be a relative, it could be someone like that. But oftentimes what I found with relatives and friends is they won't give you the real talk. They won't challenge you the way a professional can. So if you can, it'll find you. Seek and you will find it at the price point that you can. If free is something you need, free is something if you search for, it will find you and will be attracted into your life. So thank you so much, Sia, for taking the time to come out on the Coach V Show here on Island City, where the beach meets the streets. Join me here every Mana Motivation Monday on the Coach V Show, where iron sharpens iron. Together we rise. If you have not done so, please subscribe on the YouTube channel. And from your boy, Coach V and Sia, here's a reminder. We are not just doing shows like this or what we do for the sake of just achievement and success alone, but really for the sake of being your best. When we do so, we realize the best of our abilities and that everything and anything that we dream and work for can be achieved. This is how this success coach and Mr. Sia, Rawmana himself, lives, all about faith and family, grateful for God's amazing grace. Until next time, it is your boy Sia in the 619, Mr. Rawmana, and your boy Coach V. From the 91 Sizzle. One love, mad respects always. Peace.
Peace. Off out, y'all.